Well, the positive thing is something you're immediately aware of if you are abroad or somewhere else. It triggers you constantly. It's constantly challenging. Even if you don't talk about jewelry, what actually nobody does, but there is a constant interaction which sharpens actually the way you look at things, and it's very hard to rest and not be aware of that. So that also feels a little bit like a hot breath in your neck all the time. So as if something, and you have to work very hard in order to try to be original. I mean, the word original as such, I think is a funny concept, but at least trying to be original. And you see so many things around you, so you have to avoid to get close to certain things. That keeps you sharp, I think, all the information you have. And on the other hand, I think it causes a certain speed, hectic. And sometimes I miss, or if I see work of people who live totally isolated somewhere, you see a certain kind of contemplation, there's a certain kind of rest in it. And that's sometimes something I miss. I would like to be away from all the input for a while, because you judge what you do constantly, and sometimes it's also important to just let it sit for a while and sort itself out.
I had in the beginning when I started, I also had this big wish or this feeling: you have to show normal people, you have to show them there's another world out there. Part of me still thinks that, and part of me will occasionally try to do that, have that idealistic idea of, okay, we're going to have an exhibition or something and let people see. Through experience, I've now noticed that a lot of people, they don't get it. They first of all, it's not practical. You can't wear a jacket over it often. You can't wear it a whole week on your jacket. You can't wear these things in your ears or on your finger day and night, or when you're doing the dishes. And a lot of times they don't stay and look at something too long. There's exceptions, and I'm not talking about the exception people that are curious enough, but a lot of people are drawn to the things that they recognize, which are more simple things. And the complicated things are like fashion shows in Milan or in Paris. Funny to look at, but you would never wear these clothes. And okay, so that's talking about the normal people. And so I don't have too many illusions about that, and I don't put too much energy into that anymore. And it's certainly not any more hopes. The places where the jewelry is at home well is where usually it's the gallerists. Sorry to say, because trying to find alternatives besides galleries to get your jewelry out there doesn't work with mine. Maybe with other people's, but it doesn't seem to work with mine. It needs somebody who stands in the behind the work, as my work as an artist, and can tell the people something about it. Which means you need people that are very open for it, usually people that already have a certain understanding, kind of like art lovers that go to the museum, and not like the kind of people, or like art lovers that go to a gallery and want to buy a painting, and not necessarily somebody who needs to buy a piece that fits to the new living room rug. So I'm really taking this question very big. So it means I need certain galleries that will take care of these needs.
I think this is also a very difficult question, because I think it is important that people keep making jewelry, because there is a public for that, and I think should be possible to still make that. But I think should be also possibilities of because I think the work that I'm doing, the work that a lot of people are doing, it's this work in between that they don't fit really in this jewelry context, but they don't fit as well in this gallery context. So there is this it's a lack of space, and I think it would be wonderful if you could work show your work without this really is this paint of jewelry, of sculpture, of object, this it's just what it is without or maybe should be a new name.
Well, most of them I think, well, if people don't like it, they won't tell, so I just don't know that. Most of them like my work because it's very humorful and very friendly and with animals and colorful. And I know when I graduated, people came into my little exhibition, and then when they left, they all had a big smile. And I think, well, that's a nice thing. Maybe that's my message, to get people smiling, and if they see the work, that they get happy. Yeah, there are enough horrible things in the world, so it's nice to see some beautiful and funny, joyful things also. Well, I think if I would say my work is a bit between America and the Netherlands, because I'm in a way I tell a story, or it's in a way a story, and it's figurative, but I feel very Dutch because everything I do in the work, I think, is it not too much? Does it need that thing? And I think that's European, but also very Dutch, to get it minimal. Maybe some people look at my work and say, well, that's not minimalistic at all, but there are so many things you can apply to a work, so many different materials and colors, and I try to go for the basic, to get the strongest with less. Less is more. I think that's the way typical Dutch, but I can imagine that some people really don't see it in my work.
Yeah, that is a personal thing. I think when I graduated now, almost 5 years ago, yeah. And after my graduation, I didn't know anymore if I wanted to do jewelry. I was really searching for a reason for myself, and then at a certain moment I tried out some other things. And I also, in the jewelry field, I tried out to maybe the jewelry have to be more related to fashion, or the jewelry have to more related with graphic. And then I figured out in the end that jewelry have to be just jewelry, and now I'm very happy with it.
Because I'm a teacher and a jewelry maker, it is something that worries me a bit. It's a kind of tendency that I see easily with students, but also outside. It's logic, because what happens with students, that happens also outside. But what we see here is that the students are becoming younger when they study here. A lot of times they don't have an earlier education. They don't have a background in jewelry. So you have to really teach from the basic, and we are not used to, in a way, because normally we teach on a certain level, and now we have to adapt our level a bit. The education is for the students now also always related to what comes after. What's the future? What's our job? What will be our work? Where can we work? How can we earn our money? And that's also very new. That happens in school, but I think this is also because it happens outside.
Like 30 years ago, people talked about, I don't know if you can say that in English, a wearable object. And I never liked that word. The word is necklace or bracelet or jewel. So, yeah, as long as you can wear it, you can wear it. as long as it's between or in the size of your body, my body or your body, then you can wear it, of course.
How does...
I like big rings, for instance. And I like especially rings. I'm not wearing at the moment. I didn't know that you were filming me. But because that's the only piece of jewel which you see always by yourself. All the other objects of jewels, the other person see them, and not yourself. Yeah, when you look in the mirror, but the ring is always...
Oh, jewelry is a lot for me, yes, because I have to deal with jewelry as a maker and as a gallery owner, but also as a wearer, and also as a collector. So there's so many aspects on jewelry, and I must say I like them all, in fact. Yeah. I think it's very nice to be an intermediary between the makers and the wearers, the buyers, the customers. Yeah, I like that diversity of activities and roles. Yeah, so I have to be in touch with the makers, and I also have to present it in a good way to the customers, and that makes involved writing, for example, so organizing, a lot of organizing, and I like that. Yeah. I must say I like when jewelry is also relaxed and funny, because it doesn't have to be deadly serious always. Jewelry is to enjoy.
I guess my first idea was to make it, to invite young people, because I really wanted to give the opportunity to young designers to come out and show their work. That was my first starting point. In this field of galleries in Belgium, that I want to show also more stable designers. Because only with these young designers I can never level with other famous galleries in Belgium. So that was a little bit of confusion or disappointment. But still, I think the two together can make a good quality of the gallery.
I think my work is not really Mexican and it's not really Flemish, but I think my work is the result to a very, very long research about myself, about my philosophy, and about all the people around me.
A strong piece is very strong, but you don't when you don't need a label. But that's the whole problem. People from outside have also they also need what is it? People come in verzameld werk and they ask, what is it here? What is this? Is this a shop? Is this a museum? Is this a gallery? And then I say, no, it's collected work. It is what it is. And when you feel the strongness of an object, then it's for me okay. When it is when you feel it's complete, then it's okay. Then you don't. But I know practical you need definition because you have to find communication to outside. So you need words to communicate, but that's another story.
Well, our passion is the body, always been. That didn't stop. The love for the body, and dancers are very welcome here. Pantomime actors, all what is people who working around the body, And jewelers, good jewelers, they know everything about the body. They really work for the body. And this is the thing which is common with the jewelers and us, it is the body. The body is the most important thing. Because for the most of the exhibitions that we do, if we can bring a dance performance, we will do it. We do it, always. We need more galleries. We have four galleries in Ghent, it's fantastic. Some in Antwerp, one in Brussels, or two in Brussels. We need more galleries. And more artists. More artists.
Well, I have a space here, which is, I've done this space and I wanted to have it very neutral. Maybe not neutral, but that a lot is possible. I could show jewelry, but at the same time I could show photography or objects or painting, whatever. But with small interventions I can change the look of the room. It's a bit like a stage. Mm-hmm. But because we are here in a 17th century or 16th century surrounding, it has a lot of history as well. But the contemporary and also the international aspect is quite important for me.
I don't think I had an expectation. When I started studying, I remember one talk with a tutor. I said, look, if it doesn't work with jewelry, if I can't express the things I want, and if people really are not open to accept my proposals, then I do something else, probably become a social worker, going into politics, doing something else. But, doing something else for sure. If I don't believe that objects can have a power, I have to stop now. I'm looking now. I find young people very interesting, or the people who are studying now are very, very exciting, because they couldn't bother really. They want to make a living. At the same time they have ideas. They want to express these. But they don't mind to be judged in this way or that way or that way. Actually, they just want to get on. And this is a very healthy feeling I get from these people. Okay, they're often lost as well, because there's no clearly, oh yeah, I want to work in this field. This doesn't exist anymore. No. They cannot be as clear as 2 generations ago, where you say, okay, I learned to become a jeweler, I am now a jeweler, I will be the rest of my life do jewelry. These jewelers now, or people who learn to make jewelry, may end up doing something very different.
Okay. Bueno, yo soy Ramón Puig-Cuyas, joyero, estoy en Barcelona, profesor en la Escola Massana.
Well, sometimes, I can understand your question before. Something is changed, because from the beginning in the 70s, in general, but not only in Spain, also in all Europe, the new jewelry changed to be more superficial. Less people work in depth feelings or their concept. Now are more artists, but in the same time working more superficial, more not exactly fashion, but more formal, more decoration. This is this evolution in these long years.
Jewelry, it's making a very specific function in my life. It helps me to understand the world where I live and helps me to ritualize all my feelings, and it helps me to find my place here in the world. And so then there's no a very specific theme, but the theme is also about, well, human condition. It's always present. I don't want also to put too much personal questions in the pieces. It's more about, I think that if I put a lot of personal things in the pieces, then the pieces are too heavy. And people, they would not like those pieces, because we all have a lot of problems in life. So we have enough with our problems and with our emotions, I think. So I just like to put like small information of all these emotions, and then people takes with them what they need, but not all these very deep feelings. Yeah.
I think that, well, if I have to tell you my background, I come from a family of art gallerists. So for me, art was something that was always hanging on the wall or mostly out from your reach. So I always was interested of what you can use and what you can touch and you can make your own. So I think that since I finished my studies in art history, I went directly for this field. I didn't have an intermediate stage with other disciplines. That's always a very interesting conflict that not only jewelry but any object has. The moment you put something behind the glass, somehow you betray the nature of the object. You make it shareable, you can show it with the rest of the world, but the own nature of use and meaning and attachment with the owner or with the collector somehow gets lost. So I think it's very interesting the tension that jewelry has being worn on the body, which it almost is the worst place to appreciate a piece of jewelry. It's the worst place you could put an object to really see it and understand it, because the body is in movement. You have so many other inputs that can distract you from the perception of the object, that it's very interesting and very paradoxical that the body actually is the best place.
Well, in Spain it's very difficult to sell artistic jewelry or contemporary jewelry, and for me it's like a very small step for people that don't know nothing about this kind of jewelry to enter to this world.
I don't understand why people are not like ashamed to be all the time with this hand-free thing in the ear or with the mobile hanging here, but they feel ashamed to wear jewelry. That for me is I think we are doing a very bad job in communicating to people that it's okay to wear jewelry. I mean, people wear some things that you say, come on, but how is that guy wearing that, or how is this girl wearing this, and they don't wear jewelry. It's very difficult to get inspiration when the gallerists don't believe in your work and don't want to buy. They don't want to take a risk. They want to be like, okay, you put it here, if it sells okay, if it doesn't, I will give it back to you. And you will see what you do with it. It's very difficult. But we have to, I think, even though the artistic jewelry has been going for a long, long time, 50, 60 years, I think we are still like in the beginning of the process. And we have to struggle along. It's difficult.
Well, we started this project because we thought that this project was not done. It was really hard to find information on the art jewelry information was placed in many places, different places, but we decided to put it together because we thought that this was what we would like to find. Okay, you have all this information, then you can't say that you don't know what's going on, what's happening, but you now have to choose to decide what you want to do, line what you want to follow, and so on and so on. So this was also one of our main points on spread all this information.
My name is Isabel Skeda. I run the gallery since 2001, and it was a dream for me, open a gallery. Now, for me, it's a perfect place. Yeah. Because it's in front of the sea, and I love this part of the city. It's like other person live here, so I live close from here, or near from here. So I don't want to change. I want to change, but maybe few years, but with another space bigger, show more and more, but always here.
Making money is like to me some kind of energy, so it really could move things and help us to go further, especially the authors. So I think, yeah, the main goal is to represent the artists in the better way we can do, and to find customers for them, not just stand here and hope that people come here to buy. I think I don't know why I have this desire about jewelry, but I think what I love most in contemporary jewelry actually is the way we revert things of the past. And in the case of some artists, it's to create new languages related to the body, and not only to the body as physical, but in an aesthetical manner, but in a more anthropological way. So I think behavior and humanity is very much important, but art talks about it as well. So it's difficult to really know where to place jewelry, and I think it's a theory that I want to construct, but it will take more time. I don't really know what is jewelry. When I see it, I recognize that it is jewelry, but to explain, it's much more difficult, and it goes more and more further, and it's completely transversal to the plastic arts. But it's not completely plastic art, and we have also pieces that are designed, but they are transversal to jewelry. So it's really, they are jewelry for different reasons.
And for me, it's a business.
Yeah, you saw they have potential.
Jewelry is a sign of the times. And so it has also there's a long history since the prehistorical period until today. So, of course, the concept of jewelry is also going to change along the time. That's what it is. And the difficulty is not to put everything on the same package, but know what is commercial jewelry, what is artistic jewelry, what is things that I don't know the name in English. Maybe it's fashion jewelry or something like that, with things that you can wear, like a pair of shoes or like a shirt, and then you can discard. I think jewelry is more than that. Even contemporary jewelry, if it is only experimental or conceptual. It's more than that.
And nowadays, I believe that everything is possible, of course. Nobody will be shocked or surprised. But there is something into the work, that you feel when it's okay, when it's not okay. And this you can't explain. And I think there is a lot about really honesty. And I also believe that it's not enough to trust in our eyes. I mean, if you see a piece from someone you never saw before, it's like listen to a music, no? If you listen first time, you are not familiar, you ignore a bit. The more you listen, the more you can understand and have emotions through this piece. And with an object it's the same. If I know this artist, if I learn more about him, if I know why he made this piece, what kind of work it did before, what is his previous work, so I can understand and learn more about this piece. So I think it's very important to know more about, to understand.
Optimistic always, it has to be, and I think we must be, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. And I'm always hoping that, as I told you, that more people come, that more people enjoy, and of course that more people buy. And I would really like to see, before I finish my work, I really would like to see a museum with a collection, and because I think that would be the beginning. The beginning is not yet. It has not been.
Yeah, I always say Berlin is a desert for contemporary jewelry. That is because of we don't have in Berlin any school or high school with jewelry, and we don't have a public collection. So this is one part, and yeah, Berlin becomes more interesting now for many creative people. So the people find that this is very interesting here with the jewelry, but Berlin is of course also not a city of money. Yeah, in a way I'm happy that I am here and not in Munich, because Munich in a way is very small and everybody knows what everybody does and many people are talking, and you have the struggle between the people, the artists, the gallerists, and so that political things. And here now I'm completely free.
The climate. It's difficult to talk about Germany in general, but I dare to say that Munich is indeed considered as the center of jewelry. And after the hard work that had been done, jewelry nowadays takes up a high rank. You know, this development is thanks to Professor Hermann Jünger, the annual International Jewelry Show with the Hermann Hofmann Prize and the Bavarian Prize, the donor donation. At last but not least, the audience can see contemporary jewelry in the permanent exhibition in the Pinakothek der Moderne and in galleries. As I can speak about the situation here, but not in Hamburg or in Berlin. We haven't here a center in Germany, like in France, Paris, maybe.
Well, I'm a chief curator of the Neue Sammlung, and my special field is graphic design, so it's not exactly jewelry that I'm concerned with always. But as I am helping in organizing exhibitions and finding decisions about the plans of new acquisitions and so on, I always have to do with jewelry too. Jewelry arts is that's important and such an important expression of artistic will that it is worth it to have an extra room for it. But it's also important to have it not in a specialized museum like in Pforzheim, which is very interesting, but to have it in the connection with fine arts and architecture, modern architecture and design and applied arts as you see it here in this museum. Because it's better for understanding modern jewelry if you see what happened in fine arts, for example, at that time. I think this aspect of the future, not how will a necklace look in 2 years or something, but to see the future, that it is important to go forward. Although museums always are thought that are institutions that look back. We are art historians. I'm an art historian. So history has to deal with the past. But I think that is no way. Of course, you have to know who you are. That's also important for the individual. You have to know you have to be sure of your childhood, of your memories. You have to take them with you. You have to deal with them. But you cannot stop there. You have to go on. And that's also the way of a museum, if you are contemporary. And if you don't want to have the dust raining down to your head, you know.
I know I have to answer this, but I would prefer to ask my students what is the most important, what they get from me. But I think the most important in terms of what it should not be, but that's my personal opinion. And that's what I found out, and that's what I still follow, and what works very well for me and for my students and for the school in Munich, but also in other places, is not to be a leader. Not to say, follow me. My vision for the school, I hope we can keep out Bologna with all this schoolish, to make it more and more schoolish, that everything is more and more controlled, more and more measurable. That, you know what I really hope that everything should be efficient. You know, you have already that we have to tell the government how efficient we are. Why do we have to have such a course? What is the output of our departments, our schools, and the input and the impact for the industry? And I mean, if they ask for the society, it's already complicated enough. But for the industry and for the economy, you know, all this, to measure everything from the economical point of view. That's the vision of really for the rest of my life, that this will not happen, that this will actually go back again. That students ask about the employability. What the hell? I mean, this is sick. This is ill. This is impossible for art, and also really for all kind of arts. That young people who are interested in gets kind of influenced by this point of view of our politicians and of the even worse, the economy behind it, and the big companies and so on, and people who actually drive the world today and control the world today. That these young students, instead of taking the advantage, the risk of a life they don't really know where it leads to, which I think is great. It's a wonderful, really crazy thing to do. No, they ask about the employability. How good is the chance to be employed after my study if I study here or there, or could we change the course so the employability is going up or whatever? That's the end of creativism, of being creative. And without the creating aspect, we are not humans anymore. I know this is quite heavy to say, but it is my opinion.
You can this work really have communication with the people. I exhibited this work first in Munich, and you find first this hut, and you take that, then you find the mustache and the brooch. And the reaction of the people is very, very different. So some people has yourself hat and looking the brooch, or some people do the so and imagine the gentleman. So the reaction of people was really different. It was for me very successful.
What the contemporary jewelry is about today? Well, I think I have a feeling from what I see. I mean, it's when I go and other countries or visit schools, I notice there's a big interest in art, and it's more looking at art and trying to make art, and I think this is a critical stage, or a difficult position actually, when you want to make art or if you want to make jewelry. It's different things in a way, from where you come from and what you want to do. I think when you making a good piece of jewelry can be an artistic piece, and that's for me the best you can get. So for me it's like more important to really stick to the jewelry where it comes from, what it is, and then develop something new in it. To a wide audience. No, not really a wide audience. This jewelry world is kind of small. But it's also quite nice that it is so small, that you get to know people. I mean, you're there in Sweden now, you come to Munich, we meet, so there is an international communication, and through this I think it keeps growing, but I think it needs very special people to be interested in jewelry, and that, let's call it, artistic attitude involved with it. But I mean, generally everybody wears jewelry, like Eugen here, or everybody around me, so everybody's interested in jewelry, and if it's good what we do, we get more and more people into it. Oh, this is, for me, this is really fascinating. They all wear, everybody wears jewelry, everybody, and not lots of things. They're highly decorated. That's what I really like. I mean, and now I would like them to wear my things. That's the great vision.
I think the jewelry scene is a myth. Yeah, there is no one theme. There are various formations of with different aims, different ambitions, different tasks and languages, and I think they are doing very different things. It's not like anymore like it was in the like 20, 30 years ago, where you had. I think it was more defined. It was more clear. I think the borders have now deteriorated really, and I mean I appreciate that.
I think we are in a good moment to begin to do new things, and new ways of working, and do not think in the unique piece. I think, unique pieces are good, but in the 80s, 90s, it was in contemporary jewelry all focused in developing a concept and creating these unique pieces. And I think that it's a moment to break with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think right now you have, I think you are part of a period where there are no taboos left, so everything is possible. Every subject, every material, every way of working, scale, whatever. Do it, and nobody is going to be shocked, nobody is going to be annoyed, nobody will actually recognize it as something. So I'm wondering what that will cause, and sometimes I think it might cause that the work will be more and more reactionary, so that actually people will withdraw it, it might become more classic again, because also, I mean, that is possible because there is no taboo on being reactionary in this time as well. So I do sometimes think, and I think that might be the consequence for a while.
I think that it's not so important anymore. I think that there were other moments in contemporary jewelry movement where are we going was much more important. When one sees the works of younger people, you see that many of them are concerned in communicating their processes, or even to sharing their imperfections or their unfinished work. So I think it's very much on looking for density and not for distance.
Today, I think in the 80s, 90s, a lot have been done in terms of testing and experimental work, in terms of material. Provocation was always very important to provoke. And now almost everything has been done, and now I think it's a passage time where we go through how it will and how we will be developed further. But I see it in the future. I think it's becoming more open, and it's contemporary jewelry really goes into. It's approaching art, yes, and that's what I'm fascinated, and I'm going for it.
Sometimes I'm very afraid that we are going back to very straight definitions, and I'm afraid for that. But it can, because we live in a difficult economic world, and I think that's not so good for freedom. And sometimes I'm afraid. I fear it, but we have to fight to. I think we have to fight for creativity